Alrighty then, we are live. Well, recorded.
All right, guys, welcome to podcast number 7. We have Vagner Rocha with us. Say hi, Vagner.
What's up?
And we are going to talk about a bunch of cool things. We just had an awesome seminar with him doing 50-50 of the arms live.
Yeah, it was pretty sick.
It was really amazing.
Yeah, great stuff.
I appreciate you guys having me, and it was a good day of some specific drilling and work and those sequence of movements, to trap the person in these funnels and look for the submission. I had fun with these guys. These guys are, especially the guys that were there today, was a bunch of advanced guys.
Yeah,
I felt like we had a good room.
Yeah,
it was fun.
Awesome rolls. A lot of people doing that setup, to be honest, from the back. From those positions, you see when you watch. I mean, you didn't watch the last EBI, but I did. And part of the rule set is those guys, they start on the back for overtime. And the escapes and the attacks just didn't seem even close to that type of advance. The way you do it, how advanced you do it. All those guys seem to be just kind of muscling their way out of it. Like,
they just run right to the body triangle and then just try to hold the guy as hard as they can.
Basically. There was not a lot of technique involved, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's especially that armbar position that they start in the EBI rules. I think it's pretty hard. People, it's a common, back to what I was saying when we were doing the positions today. It's a common position. Even when you're like a white belt, you already kind of understand how to get away from that. That position where the leg's over the face and over the body, and you have the arm in your hands. So I think everybody has their own version of how to get out of that. And people they get lost in transition trying to understand how to finish it. But there is more ways to attack that than the ISCs, than most people see. I figured out a lot of sequences on finishing that, and that's like, having the submission in your hand and losing it. That's not a good thing for jiu-jitsu, because if you really look at jiu-jitsu as a as a self-defense art, not a sport, that's like you're saving yourself. It's a life or death right there. You have somebody that you can finish, and you're losing that position. It's people don't train like that. They don't see it like that. It's a game, to some and most. I personally started jiu-jitsu for the art, for self-defense art, and fighting. And so when I get to a position like that, I really focus in on what's happening, why it happened, and if I lose it, I'll drill it over and over again until I figure out how to get it. Just like if I get caught in something, I'm like, how did that happen? And then try to overplay it in my brain and re-see it and piece the things together. Most people get lost in transition. They're just like, whatever, brush it off. But if you don't focus in on how it happened or why it's happening, then you're never going to figure out how to stop it or how to move on from these things.
One of the things that was really interesting about the way you taught that position is that a lot of times, like when you learn it as a white belt, when you learn the back, you're learning the back, learning an armbar from the back, and that's what you're going to go for, and that's it. When you lose it, you lose it. But with what your system, what it does is it gives you so many more options in transition. Okay, this guy escapes this. Great, we have this available.
Yeah, it's
in every point in that series.
It's to see the next step. It's what they say about a blue belt and a black belt. The black belt sees 5 steps ahead, and the blue belt sees 2 steps ahead. So it's to see what's going to happen when you're right out there and I throw that ball. It's not going to be projected to always fall in the same place. It's going to fall in different places, and things are going to happen in different ways. You gotta have A, B, C, D, E, F, G all planned ahead. What's gonna happen?
Do you think? And we asked this we had Rob Kahn on and everything. Do you think the game's changed? You've been in the sport for how many years now?
I started at 17 and I'm 34, so half my life.
Do you think the game has changed significantly, or do you think the best guys from 15 years ago can stand up with the best guys from now?
No, every sport, things change. Everything evolves. Look at MMA, look at jiu-jitsu, it evolves. Yeah, it's evolved. I think the guys' generation today, from the generation from when we started, I think is way different. Our instructors will never, beat the guys that I'm gonna make, and it's just, it's it's a different world today than it was 10 years ago, and that's common. Plus, I think today's generation they have more grounds to learn from. There's so much access to more jiu-jitsu than 10 years ago. I think that's even more accessible, and I think even in our generation, I think we were blessed with things like YouTube.
Yeah, exactly.
That YouTube is such a powerful tool. Like I've learned jiu-jitsu from the greatest guys in the world through YouTube.
Yeah, that's true.
And it might not even been what they showed. The position. Let's say they're showing an armbar, but just showing how they're showing their steps and their movements and the way their body drops and the way they, these guys, the Gracies, let's say in their time, they weren't even sharing moves with each other. Like.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
we're getting shared.
I've heard
now it's all
yeah.
out there everywhere.
Yeah, like we got Marcelo Garcia in New York teaching us, X guard, and you got Salo and Sandy Ribeiro in freaking California showing you this, and you got Andre Galvon in San Francisco or San Diego showing you that, and you got these guys in Dan Handers, freaking Henzo School, they doing heel hooks, and you just the world today has seen a new evolution to the sport. So there's
that 50-50 of the arms. Is that something that you've taken bits and pieces from this guy, that guy, and then made it your own? Or is that something that you truly feel like, you came up with?
I can never say I came up with this move, because I learned a move from one guy, and then I learned another move from another guy, and then I learned another. Like, I actually the other day I traced back how I learned this move, this setups. I started from where I learned it the first time, and I was like, who taught me this setup, and then that transitioned into that setup, and then that setup made up all these other little things that I put together. So I placed it to back to Mario Sperry, who I only met maybe 2 years ago for the first time.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, how did I place it all the way back to him? So it started with Pablo, who really liked North-South Kimuras, and also who was my instructor at from White to Black. And I always, I would get, sometimes like into a Kimura situation with him, and he was so much stronger and more athletic than I was, and he would just rip out of these positions. And then one day I did it with Dustin Dennis, clean, who then showed me a transition from half guard, a Kimura from half guard, that he would do. Like when people wouldn't let you pass, he would show how to throw the leg over the head and kind of do like a rolling Kimura over the top from half. And then from there, I started getting that a lot. And then people, they stopped moving when I would throw the leg over the head, and they would just sit there and get strong on me. And then my leg would loosen up from half guard, and I would fall into that scenario that I call 50-50 of the arms. And from there, I started to place all these other moves together. But then I was at Cyborgs, and Mario Sperry was showing a move, and he showed that move, the move that Clean showed me. And I was like, that's a cool move. I love that move. That's one of my favorites. Clean showed it to me. And then he's like, Clean trained me for years. And
who was that?
Mario Sperry.
No, but who is he talking about?
Dustin Dennis, Clean. You know who Clean is?
Oh, I never heard him called that.
Yeah. He said, he got traced all the way back from Pablo's, ripping these North-South Kimuras, from learning it from Clean, and then Clean, who learned it from Mario Sperry, and then me kind of showing a detail on the power Kimura that I put together, and him going, that's cool, and then him showing me that move, and I'm like, whoa, that move is basically came from him. You know what I mean? Like he's like, yeah, this is one of my favorite moves from back in the days. I used to do this all the time. I'm wow. That's cool. And then I put it in my head. I'm like, I think it came back all the way back around, like full circle from who learned it from who. And I'm sure he learned it from Carlson Gracie,
Right,
he probably learned it from Elio Gracie. And then, if you
there's a picture of Elio Gracie doing a heel hook.
There's video of Elio Gracie doing a heel hook in the gi.
What do you think of all the leg locks being this new craze? And do you think that's going to fade, or do you think that's going to be something that's going to grow?
Well, it's 50% of your body, so I don't think it'll go anywhere for anytime soon. I think it's more than important than that people understand how to use, your whole body as an attack. And I think it sucks that it's not legal in some tournaments, like some of the bigger ones. It's like I look at it like it's just wrong. It should be fair play,
right?
All the way across the board.
Like reaping the knee in the IBJJF. It's so ridiculous.
It's stupid.
It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, that whole. I mean, I think it's one of the most amazing tournaments in the world because of the system that they run it on. It's like perfect. They're never late. They're always on time. They got the referees. They got everything going on right, but they have so many flaws to it that just it turns me off. Like they make these guys pay a fortune to compete.
Just to recognize you as a black belt.
They recognize you as a black belt as a a pain in the ass, and then you have to
You pay them?
No, I don't. I didn't. I stopped competing in that years ago. I just abandoned it.
But you're still a black belt.
Yeah, so
I believe it.
I don't have to ask them to recognize my black belt.
Exactly. It's kind of ridiculous.
Put it to the test.
It's too new of a sport to have to pay an organization to recognize your rank. I mean, I got mine from Rob Kahn, who got it from Hoist Gracie. You can't deny my black belt. You can't deny the lineage.
It's like I said, back to it's just ridiculous that they have those rules out there and they have it in place. It's more to protect themselves, I think.
Like a liability.
Their brand, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm past it. I'm looking to the new organizations and new future of the sport. There's lots of events popping off and doing
EBI rules. I think are really good.
Yeah, those are cool rules. They're different as well. I like as my friend Marcel says, I like all the rules.
That's funny. There's some I think like submission only for me it's just more boring to watch than anything else because everybody starts out so slow because they know they might be there for 4 hours. So everybody's pacing themselves and it's a very slow game. If you have a time limit.
I like my favorite rules is the ADCC rules.
Really?
Yeah, it's my favorite rule set. I don't know. I just
a lot of people argue with you with that one.
It's my favorite tournament.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's been my favorite tournament since as far as I can remember. So I guess I like the way the rules are. You got half the match to no points, and then you got the other half to make something happen. And you won't earn the points unless you really put the position together. You know what I mean? Like you take a guy down and he turns the turtle. It's nothing. It's nothing. You didn't really hold him.
Right.
If you pass the guard and he turns, still nothing. If you take the back and you don't secure it for a certain amount of time.
Well, it's a whole different strategy. I mean, you're training for a whole different thing as opposed to if you're going into an EBI where you're basically hunting the submission. Position means nothing.
Yeah, I love the EBI format. I just don't know if it's fair that a guy can hold out and then be able to start on your arm or on your back, and call that
a
fair
win.
Play. Yeah.
You're right. But then there's the other way, the ADCC, where you can stall out for, 20 minutes long? Or if there are 10-minute matches?
Yeah, that's true.
5 minutes you can stall until points kick in, and then you can start getting your points.
Yeah, they really penalize you if they catch you, if they think you're stalling,
Yeah.
They'll put you down a point as soon as the points start. They already penalize you right away.
Right.
So if you come in and you're really just putting your head down and holding out, then you're going to get
guys like... and I'm not calling anyone out in a negative way, but you guys
of course.
Like Rustam. That guy Rustam. Did you ever go against him?
No, I didn't. I came close to a couple times, but no.
I went against him, and he won on an advantage. Like, he almost passed my guard.
Yeah, he's a freaking animal. He's such a savage.
But it was like he wasn't even... He just made it look like he was trying to pass.
Yeah, well...
And then he made, like, one push for a pass, didn't get it, got an advantage, and won.
Yeah, see that there's no advantages in ADCC.
Yeah, well, that's good. But there's penalties. You get penalized for pulling guard, though.
You get penalized if you know the rules. So you get penalized during the point system pulling guard. If you know you're going to play guard, then
pull first, right? Pull early.
Yeah, you got a coach, you got a corner. You should always have a corner.
Yeah.
So they should be letting you know, like, hey, it's 4 minutes. 5 minutes is points. If you make your moves now, do what you got to do now.
Well, you got guys that don't want to pull guard, and then you end up with ADCC. Like a lot of the last one was
a lot of wrestling.
A lot of people that aren't wrestlers wrestling.
Yeah,
which can be tough to watch.
Well, I think the match
It can be really
It's
tough.
boring almost.
It's really boring to watch when you have two guys that aren't wrestlers wrestling.
Yeah.
I think the match
it was,
that sort of epitomizes that was the Mario Sparre versus
Liborio.
Ricardo Liborio.
It was horrific. I love both the guys, both of them. I helped Liborio train for Mario Sperry, and I hadn't met Mario Sperry, until after the ADCC, because then he came to Cyborgs, and then I got to meet him, and they're both amazing individuals. Both of them are legends, like ridiculous. They're real legends. Liborio was an animal. I trained with him for the ADCC, and he called me. He's like, "Hey Vagner, you're awesome. I helped you here with the MMA. You can come down and give him a couple rounds with me here and there." And I'm like, "No problem." So I came to train with him, and I've never ever in my life trained with a guy that is at his age that's made me feel like a child.
No.
Swear to God.
wow.
People say that. I cannot imagine. What does he do?
He came out like, and he's like, "Oh, I'm older. I want to go slow. Don't go crazy on me." I'm like, "No problem." So I came in at a good pace, and I'm like, "All right, like I'm not coming in like guns blazing after this guy. I have so much respect for him." And he freaking double legged me on my head, passed my guard. I turned the turtle, and he crucifix armbarred me like Marcel Garcia likes doing with the legs.
Wow.
And it made me go, what was that? Like, I looked at him like, yo, that was like crazy. I was like, he was like, "Oh, was that good?" I'm like, what? Like,
wow.
Was that good? What do you mean, was that good? Like, most people don't even do that to me. Like, are you crazy?
And
so I rolled with him, and then I was like, all right, I guess I got to step up the match. Like, I guess I'm telling you, he easily could fight in the adult division in any tournament and win. Like, just fine. Like, he'd do just great. Like, I really had to step it up, and this was like weeks after I had won the ADCC trials here against studs of studs that came down from New York and across to California, and all these guys that came down. And I'm telling you, he was easily tougher than all of them. And the guy was 50 years old. Like,
that gives me hope.
He's amazing.
I hear stories about him.
And then Mario Sperry as well. He's another stud. These guys these guys were legends in their day.
Wow. I've heard about Liborio being ridiculous like that, but I could never imagine. Like, I could never. Yeah, you just can't imagine a guy
that match that they had in ADCC did not represent what they know, not at all.
Because of the rule set.
Yeah. They played into it. Like, you're a pull guard, and you just got to know how to do it. You gotta know the system. You gotta know the rules. But I think neither one wanted to be underneath each other. And think about it, like, think about you. How long Matt Arroyo?
Yeah.
How long you been training?
I don't want to be underneath Matt Arroyo.
Yeah, no, but it's not even that. But think about it. How long you know him?
10 years.
Yeah. So think about, like, when you guys are 50 years old and you guys have a match against each other. Do you think you think he's gonna want to be underneath you, or you're gonna be underneath him?
Exactly. Yeah.
You guys are gonna be like, "Nah, I'm good. I'll risk it. You can take me down."
That's true.
That's the match right there that they had was what, considering like what you guys would have.
That's good. That's gonna be a fun day when that comes.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is so.
It's
cool
sad that they're not like as close as they used to be. Because you guys were like brothers at one day. But it is what it is. Life has its way.
On a different note, what do you think of AJ Agazarm?
Oh.
Yeah, you recently made headlines pretty much across the jiu-jitsu sphere.
I think everybody that in jiu-jitsu that didn't know me kind of got to know me, right? And
yeah,
in a matter of 13 seconds.
They finally heard of you if they hadn't yet.
What was going through your head?
Lots of things.
And I'm a proponent for what you did, by the way. I'm your friend and not his, and I think he deserved to get kicked. But what was going through your head when that happened?
All right, so for everybody out there, I just don't want everybody to think that, like, oh man, Vagner's a jerk or he's a douche or whatever. All the things I got, all the bad press I got over the last month over this situation. I was clear-minded coming into the match, even though I had a lot of provocations from AJ. He provoked me with words, with messages, with
he was just talking shit to you for no reason.
Even in person, once upon a time. Remember that match that in the MMAC?
Yes.
You know, he literally am walking into this event with my wife, my kids, and my mother, okay, behind me. And I say hi to him, you know, I mean, mind you, I know him since we were blue belts, since, let's see what year that was, 2005, maybe 2006. I don't remember exactly what year, but we competed once as blue. Then I competed him against as a purple, and then he was still a blue when I competed against him, and then I went against him as a brown and even as a black. So we went, but when I was a black, he was still either a purple or brown because they held him forever. Because nobody likes him, you know. Nobody's ever liked him. He's a frat boy, cocky frat boy. He's just not a humble person, you know. And there's plenty of stories of I've, as much as I got hate mail, I got a lot of messages of people going, man, you know, you don't put your head down. I know what you did is right. He deserved it. He's a douche. I'm like, you know what? I know what I did. I know what's right and what's wrong. But leading up to this guy said all sorts of things, like he's going to put me to sleep. He's going to take raffle tickets so people could take pictures of my dead corpse on the stage. And then, you know, in the event the night before, he's walking by smiling at me, you know, like taunting me in a way. Like, you know, if you taunt somebody to stream, they're gonna give you a reaction. You know, every action has a reaction.
Well, it's like, it's not like there was $1 million on the line to make this. Like, it's not Conor McGregor versus.
No, there wasn't $1 million. And then the event promoter, you know, made it that much easier for me. He basically said at the weigh-ins, and I wasn't sure. I had to make sure I got it repeated to me by the referee. He said, you know, if you guys get out there and you guys slap each other or you guys get in a fight, I don't care. Just make it a show. So now I'm like, I'm here sitting about to weigh in, and I'm got this guy stuck in my throat, and I'm like, man, you know what? He's a pussy. I know he's a pussy. I've rolled with him. I fought him. He's a pussy. He's an internet guy. You know, he's the guy who talks behind the computer.
Yeah.
I'm like, you know what? If I step to him, he's not gonna do nothing about it. Him or his friends, nobody's gonna do nothing. They're a bunch of jerks. No. You know, they're not. They don't got that in them. So, you know, the guy says this, and I'm like, did he really just say that? So I'm walking back, and then I see the guy. He goes, hey, I'm gonna be a referee tomorrow. I said, all right. Well, Seth, the promoter, Fight to Win guy, said, if I slap AJ or we get in a fist fight, he doesn't care. Is that what he said? Is exactly what he said? He goes, yeah, man. He said, you guys can do whatever you want. He goes, you know, I don't, you know, he's not gonna. There's no disqualification. So I said, all right, cool. You know, tomorrow as soon as the match starts, I'm gonna slap this guy right in his face and let him know what time it is. You know, I had it in my mind. I came in already kind of, you know, I wasn't, you know, I didn't have it until that was told I could do it. Because I wanted to beat him, you know, like I trained to beat him, you know, to show him that my jiu-jitsu is better than his. But all the little things that he did, you know, leading up to it, you know, after the guy said it was okay to do, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna give him one to let him remember me forever.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
So it turned out to be more than I wanted it to be. I think I stepped across the line. I went past the point that
all of a sudden AJ just disappears off the stage.
Yeah, he landed on his feet though. This guy is he's
suing them.
Yeah, of course he is.
He called the police on you.
I know. I heard there was the
Gracie Tampa cop.
Yeah, one of my friends, good friend of mine, Rob.
Yeah.
Gave me a call, said, hey, you know, this guy went to the police station trying to file a press charges on you for hitting him. But the cop was aware of what happened and aware of what the stage it was on, and he said that's not his problem.
I heard he had put his dad on the phone to talk to the cop too. Like he wasn't getting his way, so
he said, here, Dad, talk to him.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, he did.
Just didn't go well.
Oh my God.
That's pretty bad.
And then I guess AJ said something to the cop. You know, he said, "Do you train?" He's kind of getting the feeling, you know, based on what he was, you know, some of the things he was saying. Like, "Do you train?" He's like, "Yeah, I train." He's like, "Where do you train?" Gracie Tampa. He's like, "Fucking figures," and he turns around and walks away.
That's hilarious. But then you see where the apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
I guess.
Yeah, you know, it's, you know, he like I said, I think he got a little bit of what he deserves. Maybe it'll change him. Maybe life will guide him in a new path. I got to the point where I was like, you know what, man, I'm tired of you being this person and doing these things to people, and I'm not gonna be the guy who you're gonna walk upon and do that to.
I don't understand why he's so popular in jiu-jitsu, because
I don't get it either.
He doesn't submit anyone.
He's he's a bad version. He's a bad wrestler in jiu-jitsu. That's what it is. He was never good enough to wrestle in college or to be a D1 or a D2. So he just took a little bit of what he learned and brought it to jiu-jitsu, and he's using it,
And he's tough, so he's hard to choke. And,
he's hard to submit,
He'll let his legs break on you.
He'll let anything rip off, I had his shoulder behind the back of his head. I don't know how he does it.
Keenan Cornelius made a video just about
submitting him, right?
Just like a day in the life of AJ Agazarm.
Yeah, the video's
and it's
hilarious.
like a compilation of AJ
I ran across
that
that videos doing homework.
It's hilarious. But you got a big fight coming up, right?
Yeah, I got a match, MMA match in December 16th at the Fight Time in Fort Lauderdale War Memorial against Yoslandi Izquierdo, guy who fought in the UFC. So it's a big thing. I got a title down there and on this show, and I'm defending it.
That's awesome.
In my hometown.
Are you hoping for that call from the UFC again?
I'm not really thinking about it. I'm 34 years old at this point. I'm just having fun.
Yeah,
that's how I see it.
That's awesome that you can do that.
I don't care. I'm like, whatever.
What are your goals now? So you're 34. You plan on fighting more MMA, doing a lot more jiu-jitsu matches, or maybe running your school?
I've been, focusing, of course, on the school because it's number one to me. That's where I make a living. And the competition is just to keep me active. I want to do more, single matches. Super fights. I like those. These are cool. I like the formats.
They're fun.
Whether it's this event that I just did there. Where it was in the gi or it being no gi or whatever it is, I want to do those because I feel like it has more. There's more to win in that, than entering tournaments and doing, these events. I always want to continue to do ADCC. That's one of my favorite events of all time. I have done, 3 trials and done very well, and I've gotten to the second round of the ADCC and weight in absolute last year. Or the last edition of it. So I enjoyed that event. And to me, it's like it's easily the coolest thing to go watch.
Did you place? And I can't remember. Did you place in ADCC this time?
No, I didn't place. I lost in the quarters, I believe. Right, second round. Yeah.
But you beat Homo Abahal.
Yeah, I beat Homo in the absolute. That was cool.
Oh, that was the absolute.
Yeah, that was absolute.
Oh, okay.
Almost a weight class above me.
He's a weight class above me. Yeah, that's right. So you didn't place in your division?
No, I lost in double overtime to Octavio Souza, who was the trials before. I mean, the ADCC before second place.
Who does he train under?
He's Gracie Baja, Octavio Souza, Gracie Baja.
I never heard of that one.
Tough, man. Guy's legit. I think he was a world champion last year or this year. I'm not sure. He's a stud.
And you're not going to do the trials this time?
No, I'm not going to do the trials. I'm going to try to get an invite, see if they reach out to me. I have information for the guys over there and see if, if they want me. If not, it is what it is. But I feel like, I've done enough. I don't want to go do a trials. Let some of these other guys go get it.
Right.
I've been to 3 trials and I've been to 3 finals in the 3 trials. Lost the 1 trials to Gary Tonin. By a couple points, and
remember that.
Yeah, and then I won, trials with Gary and JT Torres in it. The last one I won it with Jonathan Satava, Munch, Majid, and AJ Agazarm were all in it, and I won. So I
remember that you went against that one match with Satava.
Yeah, that was amazing.
That was a badass match.
Cool match. That's a good comeback.
Yeah, he took your back, and then you took his back to finish it.
It was a good fight.
That was really good.
Yeah, he surprised me in the beginning, but weathered the storm and got out of these bad situations and able to take that W. He got second place at the Nogi Worlds just now.
Wow, who got first?
Marcelo Maffa, checkmate black belt Brazilian kid.
There's so many people now.
He's
I
good.
feel like
This
it
guy's
used to
good
not
though.
be that way.
This guy's really good too.
Yeah.
He's either won or been in the finals a couple of times. Very tough.
So if you could have a super fight with anybody, who would you pick?
I would like to fight Gary Tonin because he beat me in that trials years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He just had a ridiculous showing at the
And
EBI.
I think he's not because he just beat me, but because he's easily one of the number one grapplers in the world right now too. You know.
Absolutely.
You know,
Yeah,
if I'm gonna fight, I'm gonna go right for the best. So.
Yeah.
He's definitely at the top.
Yeah.
You know?
After watching EBI, man, I was thoroughly impressed.
Easily one of the top guys. You know.
He's one of those guys. He doesn't. Does not lack in any area of jiu-jitsu. He's got great leg locks. He does
Wrestling, everything.
There's not one area where he really lacks in.
He has some. You know, everybody has holes. You know, when I have holes, everybody has holes.
Right.
But he's definitely amazing. You know, what I like about him is just dynamic. You know, he's all over the place. He doesn't care. He doesn't. There's no bad time with him. You know, like you can tell. Like I've seen him in bad positions, and I'm like, man, this guy's just wiggling his way out. He's gonna get out. You know.
Yeah.
And he's got heart for days. You know, and he's a pretty humble guy. You know, he's not a jerk. You know, you get a lot of these guys that get a little bit better, and they're like, you know, beat on their chest, and they have to tell the whole world how great they are.
Well, now you have all those guys talking shit online like crazy, like Gordon Ryan. And
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like
those guys talk so much crap. What do you think about that?
I like.
You think it's funny?
I think it's good. You know, that's as long as it doesn't get out of control. You know, like. You know, for example, with my situation that I had, you know, I'm not.
I got a little bit crazy.
Yeah, I got a little more over the top than I should. I said I take fault in it as well, you know. But I feel like if the floodgates hadn't been open to, you know, allowing me to do, you know, saying, hey, you could do A, B, or C, then I probably wouldn't have done it. You know, I probably would have kept my hands to myself.
Yeah.
You know, if I wasn't told I could, I wouldn't have. You know, and like you can see, if I hadn't been told that I could, right, and I did, I probably would have been disqualified.
Right
on the spot. Like they would have stopped the match and said, "Hey, you're out, man. No, thank you. You don't need this. We don't need you. We don't need that." But it wasn't the case. They said, "Okay, cool. You did that.
Yeah.
Go fight. Shake hands and fight." You know, like, and that's what I wanted.
That's probably why he's suing them.
That's exactly why he's suing them.
Because they said that.
That's exactly why he's suing them, and I know
That's
that.
still such a bitch move, though.
He is. He's
such a, like these guys don't have money. Come on.
He's definitely going after them, and he's claimed injury. And how are you injured if you just fought the Nogi Worlds and you fought a super fight in Polaris, and you know you went on there and didn't look injured at all. You know, there's no injury. You know, the guy's
a very specific injury. It's called butt hurt.
It's called his vajayjay hurts.
Who did he fight?
His taco is sore. I cracked his taco.
Who did he fight in that Polaris? How do you say it?
He fought some 40-year-old Asian MMA guy. He fought an old dude.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he finally submitted somebody. Hey, AJ.
He submitted that person?
Hey, AJ, congratulations. You finally tapped somebody.
That's amazing. You know, he put this video online of him, like, he went live on Facebook, and there was, like, a girl sitting next to him on the plane, and he was, like, asking people what he should say to her.
Oh, my God.
What a loser, dude.
Oh, my God. It was the worst. I was, like, embarrassed for him. And he's, like, showing the camera to the girl and then, like, looking at the camera, like, what should I say to her? And then said, like, the dumbest shit, and this girl's like, fuck is wrong with you? Just, like, looking at him like, I need a new seat.
Creepo.
Yeah, just a fucking creep. It was the worst.
Yeah, he's a weirdo. I think, honestly, I've said this before, and I think he's a bit not normal. He's got, like, some sort of bipolar syndrome. You know, like something that's not, he's not.
Like autism.
Yeah, some sort of autism. Something that's not right, you know?
Yeah.
You guys know, you're from here, from Tampa. He's from Tampa.
Yeah.
He was born and raised here. He's not normal. There's something about him.
He's gotten up in my face.
Yeah?
For no reason.
What happened?
when I beat him at a tournament at Copa, and like he was just like the day like just when I would see him, he'd be like, "What's up?" And I don't even know him.
Yeah, it's weird.
It was really weird. And I'm like, what is he?
He's just, basically, he was like stepping up to you,
Like stepping
getting
up,
in your
but it was
face.
like almost like, are you joking? Or are you?
I took it as full seriousness when he did it to me. I took it as like, as like fighting words.
So he did the same thing to you.
Yeah, but
in
he
that
flinched
way.
at me and threw his shoulders and his head at me like a straight like chest pump.
Trying to make you
Yeah.
flinch,
Like-
basically.
Like, and I gave him like a look like, are you crazy? Like, I grew up, man, like, you know, I grew up where even looked at somebody funny and they were getting in a fight, you know, that's it. You know,
Yeah.
it's fight time. Put your hands up.
Right,
You know,
right.
But today's generation is not like that. You know, people are soft. You know, like
Oh my God.
people
Yeah.
are soft, man. The world is soft today. It's weird.
Social justice warriors. You
It's
can't say
soft,
anything
man.
offensive.
It's
now.
soft, and you know, that day you know, after I reached out and clipped him with my fingers, and he turned his back to me. I was like, this is part of this soft world.
It's crazy. He just walks around to people and just like sticks his face in them real fast to try to make them flinch, like he's going to hit them or something. That's just, and he didn't say anything to you. He just did that.
Yeah. And I'm like, I think he knew he was going to end up going against me or something. But then when I beat him, he had more excuses than I've ever heard in my life. I was only because I was bigger, only because I was stronger, only because he was tired, whatever. There was a million reasons
You got
why.
to see this guy's. He's such a joke, and you guys, you know, because we have a friendship for a long time. And you'll laugh. You got to see his pre-fight interview to that event that we did together. His pre-fight interview, he talks about how he was going to put me on a shelf, how his jiu-jitsu was like 5 levels above mine on this pedestal of his. Like, yeah, you know, it's like
I wonder
sorting.
if he really thinks that or if he's just saying it.
I don't know. I mean, after that night, he should reconsider.
But he
this.
should know before that
Yeah,
night.
he should reconsider. Well, he thought maybe because we competed so many years prior and he's gotten so much better in his head, you know, like I guess
But he
thought,
does the same
I guess
thing.
he thought I was just sitting back
Yeah.
and scratching my nuts.
You were just watching MTV and eating popcorn, doing nothing, like while he's getting
He
better.
thought I was just sitting back scratching my nuts, watching the time go by. So he said, yeah, you know, Wagner's he's a I'm trying to repeat his words. Wagner is an accomplished athlete, you know, a great competitor, but you know, he's not a world class athlete. So, you know, like if you're sorting the male, it's like I'm here on the top box and maybe he's like a couple boxes below me, maybe even like a couple more, but he's below me, you know, and that's what we're going to do tomorrow. I'm going to sort the male. I'm going to put him in his place and I'm going to put my male in its place and we're going to see where, you know, where the cards lie. And
Is that what he does for a living or something? Does
I
he
was
sort
like,
mail?
I really, again, I was like, this kid's crazy. He's bipolar. I was like, I saw it and I'm like, you know,
Well,
that's
he does jujitsu for a living. I mean, somehow he does. He goes and flies around the world and competes and gets money.
No, you
to
know
do
it's
jujitsu
funny?
for a living.
You
I don't
know-
know how much. If
you
does
know,
he
it's
have
funny.
money or
I don't know how he does it. I think he works for Full Grappling, if I'm not mistaken, because you've seen him working these events.
oh, okay.
But he is crazy though. I don't believe, like you just asked that question. Do you think he really believed that? I don't think he did, because in Brazil after the ADCC, we ended up at a nightclub. I was with my wife, and we ended up at a nightclub with Cyborg, and I ran into him, and
Really?
yeah, and it was, you know, it was during him talking smack on the internet. Remember before ADCC?
Yeah,
Right after I won the trials, there was like a little beef. I put a video saying, "Oh, you don't remember me?"
I remember that.
Yeah, I was like, you don't remember me, but I remember this, and I remember
With the
whooping you.
noogie-
Yeah,
the noogies on
yeah,
it.
petting his head, because he did the ADCC trials He was doing the videoing of the for the Flow Grappling, and he introduced the finalists, and I was one of them. And he goes, "Oh, you know, Majid, this guy's amazing, famous for his baseball bat jokes, and and just ran through this guy's accomplishments." And then when he said, "Oh yeah, and Vagner Rocha, you know, he's not really known for much."
Wow.
I'm like, this guy, he's like, all right, I get it. That's how you feel. So I put up, like, I'm not known for much, but I'm known for this. I remember this, you know? And
Wow.
he got butthurt, and he started writing him and his brother and all his little posse that he has, like, a lot of followers. Started writing stuff, and, oh, this guy's hating on you. A long story short, 2 incidents. I'm in the hotel. He walks into the elevator, and it's just me and him going up 10 floors. I'm like, and I'm cold-hearted, man. I'll look right through you. Like, I got no shame. Like, we're gonna fight, we'll fight. It's okay. You beat me up, I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
But you better be ready because I'm gonna give you all I got. So I stared right through him. I'm like looking right in his eyes, just like I'm looking in your eyes right now. And he put his head down like this.
Ooh.
And just looked down. And I'm like, man, this guy's so soft. So the elevator went up. He got out. Didn't say nothing. I fought my weight class. He lost to the guy I lost in the second fight. He got choked out, put to sleep on the mat, like slobbering.
Really?
Yeah,
Who did he lose to?
Lost to Octavio, the guy I lost to.
Oh, wow.
But I fought the guy in the very next fight for 30 minutes straight. We fought 0-0. The referees gave a decision to him. So the very next day I get in the absolute. My first match is against Homelo. And I know Homelo is his instructor. He trains over there. So,
Oh, really?
yeah. So I fought Homelo and I beat Homelo. And then in my next match, I fought the guy, João Gabriel. And I did good, and he lost to João on the other side. So I think the ADCC even wanted to see us fight because they put us on the same edge of the bracket. And they wanted to see possibly maybe him win and me win and we move on and we fight each other.
Yeah.
But it never happened, And so me and Cyborg and my wife and a bunch of people, we go to this nightclub and we pull up and he's there. And to myself, I'm there with my wife, we're talking, and he walks up with the drink and he's like, hands me a drink. And I'm like, I look at, and I'm like, I'm a forgiving kind of guy. I'm like, I don't hold grudges. I look at him, I'm like, all right. So I reach over, I grab the drink. He goes, hey man, you did really good today. And I'm like, thanks. That was it. That's all we conversated. So I don't think he really feels that way. Like, I think he's just trying to put a show,
Yeah.
But, dude, don't disrespect me, man. Don't disrespect me. And don't disrespect me in front of my family. That's even worse, Like, you just crossed the line, Like, don't talk about you're going to do this, that, the other. Like, man.
It's just weird. There's no reason for it.
He would have had so much more success if he'd have just been like, you know what? I'm fighting this guy. He's tough. We're going to fight in our hometown. We're gonna put up a show. Leave it at that, Writing a poem, how I'm gonna put you out in Roach and this, and I'm like,
You wrote one back though.
Yeah, I had some assistance from friends.
That was hilarious.
That was funny.
I had some assistance from some friends. I didn't come up all together with that by myself. But there's so many haters out there for him that there were so many ideas. People were you'd be surprised how many haters he's got.
When you kicked him off the stage, half the place cheered and half the place booed.
It did. It was weird. It was like it was a weird noise, right? Like they were cheering, booing at the same time. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. That's why I guess it didn't get out of control because it just stopped.
Yeah. That was crazy. Just recently, they had a Copa, and Hector Lombard punched a dude in the face twice
in the match.
Punched him right in the face.
Yeah.
That was the craziest thing I've ever seen in a grappling match.
I mean, I got to be honest with you, bro. I just think there's something going on with that guy that's just not. He's like his cheese fell off his cracker,
Yeah.
Which one?
Hector Lombard.
Yeah.
Like I've seen him slam multiple people to get. It seems like either he doesn't know the rules, which if you're a black belt, I don't know how that's possible, right? But he claims he didn't know the rules. But I've seen him slam someone to get out of a triangle I think either an MMAC.
It was MMAC against Ricardo.
Yes.
And he just did it again.
And he did it again to Eric Aliquin at Copa. So it's like, bro, you're either completely fucking retarded, right? Or you just don't give a shit. You just don't want to get submitted. You know what I mean?
I think that's the one.
Yeah.
He just doesn't want to get submitted, and he's like, you know what? This ain't my game, anyways. Here we go. Let me show you guys something new.
That's a funny way to put it.
But yeah, there was almost a brawl on the mat. Like everyone ran out, and then of course, the two teams were having words with each other, and then every time it seemed like it was going to settle down and like they were going to come to some kind of conclusion, like that one last dude would just yell one last thing over to the other people, and everything would just flare back up again, and they were all back in each other's faces.
At the Copa?
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy.
It happened like 2 or 3 times.
I love the Copa, man. That's one of my. I have history there. The competition is so much fun.
Me too.
It's like
we went against each other there.
Dude, that tournament is so amazing.
That was I gotta say that was a pivotal moment in my jiu-jitsu journey, going up against you. I was a purple belt,
Copa's an amazing tournament.
And I was like, I went against you. You know when you go against that one guy where you're like, I'm not gonna beat this guy.
Ah, man, you had me.
But then
you
you-
had me beat the whole time.
But then you do pretty good.
yeah,
And
you're
you're
wake
like,
up.
You're like, whoa,
I had
I
that.
can compete. Like I can get with
You
these
had-
high level guys. You know.
You had me beat the whole match. It was like 30 seconds to the end of the match, and then I passed your guard. Right? Wasn't something
Yeah,
like that?
it was something like that. Yeah.
It was
But it was
crazy.
one of those moments in my in your jiu-jitsu journey where you like you
It
kind of
opens you up.
It opens you up and you you just gain more confidence and
I know.
go
I know
from
that.
there.
I had the same feeling at the Copa when I fought Mario Rinaldi twice in 2 absolutes. You remember Mario?
I went against him.
Oh my god,
He was a beast back in the
He was
day.
a beast. He used to just toss people and do all sorts of things. And I got to 2 Copa America finals for the money for $1,000 against him, and I lost. But both times I held my own, and I had him in trouble. I felt like I should have won both matches, but I felt like because he was the guy who was always winning those Copas. Like
So
Ross-
Cyborg came along.
yeah, and then Cyborg didn't.
Cyborg. I watched Cyborg tornado sweep him.
Fuck.
That was.
How do you do that?
I was like, well, I remember. It was so crazy when Cyborg came on the scene. I was like, whoa,
Cyborg
you
definitely
can go
helped.
upside down? That, like, I didn't even realize that this is a whole new world of jiu-jitsu for me. I mean, I learned from Rob Kahn, who's got his game. He doesn't go inverted or anything like that. And then you see this huge guy going upside down and tossing people straight over. Like, it opened up a whole new world of jiu-jitsu for me. Cyborg changed my jiu-jitsu 100%.
Yeah, he definitely did the same thing for me. So
And I've never seen anything like it, especially watching him do it to a guy like Mario Rinaldi, someone so big. You're
I
like, oh my
witnessed
God.
him do it to Jeff Munson as well at ADCC. I sat in
Really?
the chair. I sat in the chair to help him fight Jeff, and he did it to Jeff, and I was just like, oh, wow. He did it to. I think his first match was Tom DeBloss, and then his second match was Glover Teixeira, and then his third match was Jeff Munson. And
That's
he
a
did
tough card.
He did it to all 3 of those guys. Like he's
Some big boys.
He's
Right there.
insane. He's
it's
unbelievable.
crazy,
Rolling
isn't
with
it?
him is like rolling with a grizzly bear.
like today. Back then, I didn't know who Glover Teixeira was, and today, back then, I didn't know who Tom DeBloss was. I knew Jeff was. Jeff was already.
Yeah, he
seen
was
for a
kind of a
minute.
big deal back
Yeah.
then.
So when he did it to those guys, I was like, and then when he did it to Jeff, I was like, and then he got in the fight with Verdum, and he had Verdum he had Verdum in trouble, and he lost the match, but he had him. He did great. Like
He had
I
a
remember-
tough journey. He didn't win like every ADCC from when he started. He had some tough going. He lost to Verdum a few times,
he lost to Verdum twice.
and then he won
Then he won the
in
absolute,
China. Yeah, that was amazing
Yeah.
when he won that.
I was with him in all those matches except for China, and then
I was there in China.
Yeah, it was cool.
That was crazy. Well, cool. Not really. China, that place actually sucked really bad.
Really, China wasn't cool.
Well, Beijing was really crappy just because it was so polluted. It was so incredibly polluted, and the air was like, there was like dirt in the air. I was walking around with a mask on,
Wow.
and the food was terrible. Everybody was complaining about the food. It was just rice, noodles, no meat, nowhere. And it was just like everywhere you looked, it was just these people. It was just communism in the air. Like everyone was just dressed the same, working their job. They worked like, 20 hours a day, slept for a couple hours, back at work the next day. It just seemed like a pretty sad place, China. I didn't enjoy it really. But
Were you towering over
yes,
everybody?
and that was
Really
another
tall?
thing. We couldn't find a gym. We were there 9 days early, and we couldn't find a gym to train at. And so it was me and Jeremy. You remember Jeremy? We were just doing like sprints in the streets in Beijing, like these 2 giant American guys running sprints and running stairs and just trying to stay in shape because we couldn't find a place to train.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. I was pretty starstruck when I went there. Like I was at that time.
That was a big event for you. That was,
It was-
the biggest thing
yeah.
you've ever done in your
Well,
life.
The
in jiu-jitsu, right?
You were there when I won the trials.
Yeah, I remember.
I was like, I can't believe I won that. Like
Yeah.
I was on a whim.
I was stoked for you. I remember going,
Yeah.
damn, Ravi.
I couldn't believe I won that.
Yeah.
And then
It
going
was,
to-
it was me, you, Matt. It
Yeah.
was me, you, and Matt there. All 3 of us. Me,
Yeah.
you, and Matt. And then that's when I became friends with Coco.
I remember that.
We
Yeah.
became friends with Enrico. And
Did you beat Enrico that day?
Yeah, I beat Enrico that day, and then we became friends. We started to talk, and I was like, man, we should train together. And he's like, yeah, give me your number. So I gave him my number, and then we started communicating. And then one day he came to Fight Sports and never looked back, man.
He became Fight Sports now, right?
He's Fight Sports is one of the guys, man.
Yeah, he's such a good guy, man.
He's good people, isn't he?
Yeah, he just did a seminar up here. I wasn't able to make it, but
I was there. I went to the seminar. It was good.
Yeah.
He's a legend in himself too, man. He's he doesn't talk much about his his journey, but this guy was a freaking monster in jiu-jitsu, long before a lot of people came around. He was heel hooking people long ago, before it was even popular.
Mm-hmm.
I remember in 2007, I believe, or 2009, he won the trials. 2009, I think it was 2009. He won the ADCC trials, like so many years ago, man.
Yeah.
And he's young too. He's a young guy. He's not even 30, if I'm mistaken.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's not even 30.
Wow.
He's a young dude.
What's going on with Cyborg? Is he still going to be competing?
He's doing a tour right now for a seminar tour in Europe coming up.
Oh, wow.
He's gonna be there for a couple weeks, and then he's gonna come back and do that Grappling Pro, which is Marcel's tournament. Grappling Pro.
That's cool.
Yeah, he's gonna do the heavyweight edition, which is gonna be December 10th, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong.
Mm-hmm.
December 10th. The Grappling Pro heavyweight series, which has got, I think, Vinny's in it, Cyborg's in it. You got
That's an
there's
awesome
a lot.
match.
Yeah, there's a bunch of names, big names in it.
Vinny just was in the finals with Gary Tonin and the
EBI,
and that was a sick match.
Yeah, Vinny's
legit, man. Yeah, absolutely.
Stud.
So, Vagner, is there anyone that that you can think of that you'd be starstruck if you met them in the jiu-jitsu community? Or you've just been around for so long you just don't give a shit?
Who would you be starstruck by?
Me? I don't know. Maybe Henzo.
Met him. You tell me the name. I think I've met them. That's why I'm not. I think I have passed that ground.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I've met Hickson. I fought twice in as a brown belt in the Pan Ams and Worlds, where I got third place, both. And both matches were against this kid Octavio Souza. He's like my kryptonite in jiu-jitsu apparently, because he's beaten me 3 times. 2 when we were brown belts, he beat me, and both times him and Kron faced each other in the finals. And both times before I fought him, Hickson came over and gave me a pep talk.
Oh, wow.
He's like, hey man, I've been watching you all day. I had like 5 matches. I've been watching you all day. You've been doing great. Go out there and beat this kid now, and then you're gonna fight my son.
Oh, wow.
I think he was scared of Octavio, and
he wanted you to beat Octavio.
Wow. So that Octavio didn't have to fight his son. But mind you,
he was like trying to give you confidence.
Yeah, he did both times. 2 times. He did it in both events, and it was like 6 months apart each event.
Wow.
It was weird. It was really, really weird. Like, I literally remember going, did this just happen? Like, did he just give me a pep talk? And I was by myself in California, and I remember going, he did. And I'm like, all right. I went out there, and then I lost, and then I was like, damn. Then I went to California for Worlds 6 months later, and the first one was the Pan Ams, and then the second was the Worlds. And then I went out there, boom, and won the first 5 fights. I was destroyed, like I feel like I am right now. And it took forever for them to set the finals or the semifinals, right? And it was me and this kid Octavio again. And I walk out, and I'm coming out of the bullpen, and he grabs my gi and he goes, "Hey, go out there, man. This kid beat you before. You're not gonna let him beat you again. Go out there and beat him this time." I'm like, "Well, again, he did it again." I'm like,
that's funny.
Yeah. And then I seen him years later at the ADCC in England. He walked by me like I didn't exist. I'm like, didn't even remember me. He was just trying to make me beat this kid. And then Octavio was beating his son both times, and then Kron tapped him out.
Kron's amazing.
Yeah, Kron was getting beat both times, and then he tapped the kid. So I
wish he did more submission jiu-jitsu, submission tournaments.
He's legit. I would like to fight him too. He would be one of those guys.
But he's all about fighting MMA in Japan.
I'll fight him.
In Japan, that'd be cool.
I'll fight him.
I think made a pretty good showing for themselves was Halleck Gracie when he went against Gary Tonin.
Thought so?
Well, I mean, because everybody expected him to just get runned over. You know what I mean? Even me, I expected it. I thought he literally.
You shouldn't expect it though. This kid's a Gracie. His freaking family. He's been training. When he was in diapers. His grandpa was patting him in the ass, saying, "Hey, buddy, go get him."
Yeah.
They should. Yeah. Nobody should ever underestimate somebody that has that much time on the mat.
Yeah, that's true.
I could see. Yes. Could I see Gary losing? No, I couldn't see Gary losing. But I sure as hell would never underestimate nobody from that family. That's wrong. Because you know what, these guys. As much as Halleck is a jerk and he's been doing wrong things to people, he's still a freaking crazy.
He's a G in the gi.
Yeah, man, he's
a G in the gi.
he's a part of that story.
You've seen that music video, right?
No, I've never seen it. They made a music video of him.
Oh my god!
No, he made a music video. Like he wrote a song called G in a gi, and then he made a music video for it.
Like production value, like good.
Yeah, like
spend that money.
Oh
but
yeah,
it's so embarrassingly bad.
I want to watch it now.
You have to watch
hilarious.
that.
And the sad part is it's unintentionally funny.
Like he wasn't trying to do that.
No. You will laugh, but you're laughing at him, not with him. Trust me.
We can put it on while we're here. It's hilarious.
You could just have access to it like that.
That's what happens with smart TVs. So he I don't, like I said, I wouldn't underestimate anybody, especially somebody like that, But
I thought, again, based on what I thought when he came out, and he was attacking Gary back, and I thought they had a good back and forth, and did well.
Yeah, it's still doesn't do anything for his image,
No.
All things he's
Gi and a gi. Here we go.
Wow, it's popular too, huh?
Right, we should film Vagner watching this video.
It's gonna be funny, I can imagine. Yeah, you should get it so we can hear it. Is that him there?
That's him, yeah.
A cheat and a key. A cheat and a key. A cheat and a key. Who is he? A cheat and a key. 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 Plato, Socrates, Shakespeare, rock with me. A G and a key philosophy. They couldn't put it down this properly. You could be anything you want to be. Ask for me, I'm a G and a key. That's a white uniform, not a white tee. No, not a white tee. No, not a white tee. I rock the kimono like I'm rocking with Bono. You don't know judo. You don't know jiu-jitsu. You could be Guido, the guy with the speedo, looking at me wrong with the sign my pedo. I tried to fuck him up, but he fled to Puerto Rico. He fled to Puerto Rico. He fled to Puerto Rico. Step it up now. Walk a tightrope, rope, do the moonwalk. Rear naked choke. I don't know you, you don't know me. All said and done, I'm just a G in the key. One of these days we'll all be free. Until then,
I feel like I know that guy. Who's that black guy?
Kevin Casey.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's Kevin Casey, isn't it? I've met him too. I trained with him. He's one of those. You can put him on that stage with those other two guys you mentioned.
Bring a friend. A G and a key might start the party, but you don't need a key, all you need is Bacardi. Bring a CD and some Bob Marley. Your shit could get heavy like tons of broccoli. Step it up now. Walk a tightrope, rope, do the moonwalk. Rear naked choke. I don't know you, you don't know me. All said and done, I'm just a G and a key. One of these days we'll all be free. Until then, I'm a G and a key. Who made this beat?
Wow.
The worst thing I've ever seen in my life.
Wait, who is he?
Yo, this has got like he spent some money to do this though.
I know.
He should have spent that money paying the people he owes.
It's crazy to me that he doesn't have anybody in his life that would tell him that this was a bad idea before it.
His brothers are pretty smart, aren't they?
Yeah. So you would think, and well, they're part of this. Like I saw, Hiron was in this video, I think.
Does he fight MMA too?
Who? Alec?
Yeah, Alec.
I'm not sure.
I don't know. Maybe. But yeah, that's pretty much the gist of it right there.
Yeah, we can stop this. I feel like I'm getting dumber watching this.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Like I said, how do you not have anybody in your life that's gonna look at this before it goes out to the world and say, look, bro, I get what you were trying to do, but it just didn't work, and I really don't think you should release this.
I think it's just being told how great you are your whole life because of your last name.
Yeah, I had to agree with that.
And then you make a music video, like that's the result of that. Just privilege, being privileged your whole life.
Yeah.
Or how about just spoiled?
Yep, spoiled, privileged.
You entitled, things that the most of this new generation's all about.
Yep.
I'm so happy that we could bring that to you and show you that for the first time.
I feel like sometimes I'm like I live in a cave because I try to not.
Funny story, by the way. So when you had your match with Gordon Ryan, right? Uh-huh. He had posted some, like a highlight video, but I didn't watch it. And it said, please like and share.
Right.
So I was like, okay, cool. I'll just like this and I'll share it, and then I'll just check it out later when I have time, because I figured it's just going to be a highlight video.
Right.
But it turned out to be...
It was a try me. It was a meme.
Yeah, it was like making fun of you, right? And I shared it, and afterwards when I found out that it was like making fun of you, I said, "Oh my God." Robbie says, "Oh, don't worry about it, man. Wagner doesn't do social media. He doesn't even look. He isn't even on there."
I don't
First
even care.
fucking comment was from you.
Yeah, what did I say?
Nothing to me. It was you were hey Gordon, I attacked you, and you just like, you guys were just going back and forth a little bit, but it was just funny because he's like, Wagner doesn't do social media.
Yeah, it was right on your post.
Yeah, it was the first comment on my post. And I was like, oh great.
No, it was funny. He's funny. That was funny, like I like even the theme music and the time it took him, but he took 2 minutes out of 20 minutes.
Yeah.
It wasn't quite like that.
You didn't run from him.
No, I was defending myself in positions that he was putting together, but it was none of those positions were like, oh my God, like you got me. I'm scared.
No, it was a great match.
I'm defending myself.
You didn't feel in danger with his legs?
The last attack was the closest thing that he did. I felt way more in danger today in your gym with all your guys than I did with him.
Oh yeah? Oh.
Yeah, man. With you even, it was way worse. With him, it was like I kind of saw it coming, like I felt like there was a lot of space. I mean, he's great. I see him catching people all the time, but I don't know. I felt like I wasn't that threatened. The last attack, he creeped up on my foot and I defended myself, but I wasn't not for a second feeling like, holy crap, this is bad. Yeah.
Well, styles too make fights,
I really did train a lot though to shut that all down, that whole little game that they had going on. And I feel like I brought a new element to the game. I showed them something that I'm not usually doing. I usually pass a lot in the ground. I didn't pass on the ground. I kept everything on my feet, on my knees. They were not probably expecting any of that. They probably didn't expect any of the things I brought to the table that night. So.
What is your sort of philosophy on leg locks? Do you like to play them, or do you just like to play, to avoid them?
I play in the gym. I play with my students. Today I played in your school with the guys over there. I don't really like. It's not. Honestly, it's not my game. Sure. It's not part of the jiu-jitsu that feel like I've created for myself. But I don't hate on it. I think it's more than game. It's part of the game. You gotta. I think you need to evolve though. Everybody needs to have an element, different elements. You can't just have one thing you're focusing on. Like, you got to use the feet to sweep. You got to use the feet to attack. You got to use the feet to, pass guard. You got to use the feet to, set up other things. Because some people are going to be good at feet, and you're going to have to figure out. Like, what really gets me is the guys that are good at feet, but they're not like great. Like what I'm talking about. Like, that guy. I'm not going to mention anybody's name. The guy who's kind of, you're like, what? He's like winning some tournaments here and there. He's a good footlock guy, but he's not a great footlock guy. And then he meets a guy who is above him on footlocks, and you can see it. Like, you're like, that guy's amazing at footlocks. Like an Eddie Cummings, for example, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's legit, right? Yeah, he's amazing at footlocks, right? Why would like a guy like me, right? That I know my stuff with the feet. Why would I play footlocks with Eddie Cummings?
Right. It just wouldn't make sense.
It's like setting yourself up for failure, right?
I mean, unless you got really, really good at footlocks.
But it's like setting yourself up for
Yeah.
failure. Even if you got your game up to that next level, right? You're setting yourself up for failure. Why wouldn't you just make the game something different to get him out of his own game?
Like funnel them into your
Change
your
it up.
game,
Make him play another game. Like the key in jiu-jitsu is to not fight the other person's fight. If you're gonna go in there and do what they want you to do, then you're probably gonna lose.
Yeah, no, that's true.
That's a good point.
That's a good point. I think sometimes though, at the same level, some of these guys are so good at footlocks because nobody plays footlocks with them as well.
I don't know. Those guys are really
Those
good
guys
over
are
there.
good, but
those three
when
over
you
there
have-
are playing footlocks
Yeah,
with each
but-
other. They're playing right now as we speak.
When you have guys,
They're at home tickling each other's feet right now.
when you have guys that have attacked them, that have attacked their feet, they've done well. They've done well.
Like Josh Hayden,
Like Josh
for
Hayden
instance.
did really
What was
well
that?
against them.
Was that EBI?
Yeah, that was EBI. But I think that a lot of guys, if you're so scared of it that it's going to throw you off your game, and you're not going to funnel them into your game. That's
true.
where it gets really dangerous.
I agree with you.
You
You can't be scared of
You
anything.
can't be scared. You have to. If you're in it, well, you're in it. You got to play it now. If he gets you in, like you get stuck into a position, a leg lock position, well, you're screwed if you don't play that in the gym.
Yeah, if you don't know what you're doing there, you're gonna get jammed. You're gonna get tapped.
So you're gonna have to learn how to attack as well.
No, I agree with you. You know that because
Yeah.
I've when it comes time to fight something like that, I'm more than game. I'm getting involved. I'm getting in. I'm trying. I'm going for new things. But I think it's still like I could have gone into that match with Gordon Ryan as much as me and you and Matt and everybody trained footlocks. I could have gone in there and tried to footlock him. But why would I do that? That would be dumb. That'd like defeat their purpose.
Exactly what you said. You'd be playing into his game rather than trying to get him to play into yours or something.
Exactly.
He definitely wouldn't have expected that.
Yeah, it would have defeated their purpose, though. I think I probably would have gotten tapped if I did.
Maybe.
It would have gave him more options to attack me,
Yeah.
He definitely has a bigger repertoire of attacks than I do. Of course, it's common. And I feel like I have more jiu-jitsu than he does because I've had more time on the mat than he has. So, as much as he's working on being on the mat every day, I've been on the mat for 17 years.
Well, they've taken the leg lock game and turned it into a real system. Just like you turn 50-50 of the arms into a system.
He's got a good. They got a good.
They have an answer for everything.
Him and Gordon. Eddie, Gordon, and Tonin. They got a good system that they're working, and it's they're all different too. Every single one of them are different. Eddie's different than Gordon, and Gordon is different than Tonin, and they all do different things. Tonin is more dynamic, and Gordon is more using his size and length, and Eddie's more flexible and underneath you, and you can tell he's knowing it's his guard. To pass his guard is not easy,
Right.
So I don't think I've ever seen someone pass his guard.
I know a guy who passed his guard.
I think Cyborg probably did in the gym.
Nope, this guy named Vagner Rocha passed his guard.
Oh, you beat him
I did an ADCC at the one we went to,
in 2012.
2013. Yeah,
Yeah, that's right.
I got it on YouTube.
But he was
too.
like he wasn't Eddie Cummings then. Yeah,
He wasn't the guy he is now.
But he was still-
Go watch the video. It's pretty.
Is that up?
Yeah, I put it on YouTube recently.
Oh, wow.
Like a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, we'll definitely
I gotta
check
watch that.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's he's
What's your
In-
YouTube handle for everyone?
it's Vagner Rocha Martial Arts. It's he was what people are like, oh yeah, it was years ago, but you know what, he looked like him. It looked like him. Watch him fighting, look just like what he does now.
Sure.
Very closed legs in. He had my foot in his hand like 4 times.
Really?
Yeah, he had my foot, and now that I look at it, I'm like, damn, I defended that, and he's gotten better, but he was attacking me there,
But so have you.
Yeah, I'm not.
Well, it's one of those things too. I find it's so much better to fight a guy that you don't know who he is.
yeah, I
Like,
didn't.
there's no hype around.
He was the
him.
first
I
fight
don't
too,
know
and
who he
I
is.
suck at my first fights. I was saying that today. Like I am horrible in the first couple matches.
Yeah.
I'm cold. I feel stiff.
I
Like
feel the same way, man.
Like, oh my
I need to
god.
wake up.
Like I have to drink an energy drink. I have to like shake around. I have to grab somebody. I have to really like throw somebody around to wake up.
Mm-hmm.
So that day I was in what state was that? Ohio? Ohio.
That was Columbus, Ohio.
Columbus, yeah, Columbus, Ohio. I was in Columbus, Ohio with my wife. You know, like I wasn't really. I was really by myself. You know, and then I saw you guys, and I was like, hey, you know, and we weren't even that close then. You know, at that point, we were like friends because we're Florida boys. You know, we're Florida boys somewhere else, so we stick together then.
Yeah.
But we weren't as close as we are today, and
That
I was
was
like
the
by
day-
myself basically. I felt.
I was like, you got someone in a flying triangle.
I did. I got Jason Patino on a flying triangle.
And I was like, I bet you $50 you don't get the next guy in a flying triangle. And you did try.
I did try.
He wanted that $50.
I did. I went out and jumped it again. And he looked at me like, you're crazy. I'm like, yes, I am. It's fun that way, you know?
It is.
Hell yeah.
You're make it exciting. I remember him looking at me going, what? You're going to win today. And that's where I lost. I did exactly that. I was like, that was easily, like I fought the ADCC trials in New Jersey and it was like the hardest thing ever. And then I fought it again in Ohio and I subbed everybody leading up to Coco. And then I beat Coco rather easy because I let him play into his game. And then, the referee gave me the decision. And then I had Tonin in the finals and I had seen Tonin fight on the Kumite, and he was a brown belt at the time. So I kind of like, I did something that I've never done, and I shouldn't have never done. I underestimated him. I kind of went in. I'm like, I'm gonna beat this guy. He'd fought one of my ex students, I was like, I think I got this. It's gonna be a good day for me. I got this. I'm going to China. This guy he's amazing. It's still amazing. Then he took my back and had me body triangled, cross facing me for a hot 4 minutes, easy. Like,
wow.
Yeah. And I got out and I was like, cannot believe. I looked at the scoreboard. It was like 3-0 for the back. I was like, I cannot believe this is happening. Like, I'm losing and there's a minute and a half left.
Wow.
And they had shortened up the clock. That they told us the rules. It was like the finals would be 8 minutes and 8 minutes. And then they made it 8 minutes only. So I spent a whole lot of time trying to get this guy off my back and gave up points. And then by the time I got going and I got something, I got his foot and I wasn't able to finish. I broke his foot in the match.
I remember that. You guys both were going for leg locks hard.
Yeah. He told me that was the eye opener for him. That's how I think him and Eddie Cummings became friends.
Oh, really?
Yeah, after that tournament.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true because he was getting caught in footlocks by you.
Yeah, he got caught in a footlock by me, and then I think he said he wanted to learn how to do it, and then I think they trained in. They were all from New York area.
Yeah.
They merged together. It's, from what I understood, that's how it all went down.
A lot of things went. A lot of meetings happened at those trials there.
Yeah, I became friends with Coco. You guys, basically,
Isn't that where you met Josh in those trials?
That is where I met Josh Hayden because we both won, and both of us were like, I can't believe that shit happened. I can't believe we actually won. I will be honest, I didn't train for that. I didn't train for that at all.
No?
No.
Wait, you just signed up and said, I'm going?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And then I won it. And then I trained for ADCC.
Yeah, that's how we became friends because you were like, hey, I got to come down and train.
Yeah, but I was way too light. I was like, because I lost a bunch of weight from training. So I was like 205 going into the heaviest division.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, it was not the right way to do it. Plus, when I went there, I was like starstruck. I'm like hanging out with Hicks and Gracie. I'm like eating breakfast with Hicks and Gracie. Like,
yeah, right next to you, right?
like, this is happening right now. It was just like too much. It was too much for me at the time to handle. Now I feel really comfortable going there.
ADCC has the best after parties.
Oh yeah.
Did you do anything with that?
We had our own little after party at the hotel, but we didn't go out with. I know, like it was like I think Cyborg went out with like Pablo and Leo Vera that time. They all went to a club in China.
Yeah, they have the best after parties. I mean, they used to have them at the hotels.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was craziness.
I think it was probably difficult in China. A lot of people were just like kind of fed up with being there because it was different. It wasn't.
It's kind of an odd place to do it, don't you think?
I thought it was. There was like 4 people in the crowd.
Finland is the next one.
That I'm excited
about. That's a little bit more. I mean, that doesn't seem as odd to me as China. I don't know. China's just like, why would we go to communist China?
They had it in Japan.
Even Japan would have been cool.
That would have been cool, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. They shot it in Tokyo.
Yeah.
But China was really strange to have it. Nobody spoke English. Nobody. It was so difficult when we first got there, getting around, trying to ask. We were asking people, we're like, where's the closest gym? Finally, like Google Translator they were able to like, oh, it's over here. So we go to the gym, and it was a whole big room with ping pong tables. That's it. That's their gym.
Yeah, they're ping pong masters,
Dude,
man.
it was crazy.
You're like expecting to see weight room and
Yeah, like
mats
something.
or
Yeah.
something.
I guess the other guys found a jiu-jitsu gym there.
Yeah, I think
somehow.
I seen pictures of Cyborg in the gym somewhere.
Yeah, Cyborg found one. But, he's Cyborg. Me and
you just
Jeremy.
you gotta stick next to him. He's fun.
I know.
Every time I've ever done a trip and I go with him, I'm like, I have a blast.
Yeah.
He's amazing.
He
such a
makes
guy.
things fun, man. He
is.
When he came and did a seminar at my gym, it was a lot of fun. And then we went out on Victor's dock.
Yeah, I
we just
saw
like
the video
threw
there.
mats out there.
Started
was
rolling
awesome.
on the mat.
Yeah,
That was
it was a
awesome.
lot of fun.
He's a blast, man. He's
He almost tornado swept me into the water.
Yeah.
he's a trip, man. He's such a good guy.
Yeah, one of the nicest guys that I've come across in jiu-jitsu for sure. I'd love to get him back up again.
He's a blast, man. I'm thankful to have met him and become friends with him because I've had such a good time with him. When I went to Brazil just a couple months ago with him, we went to his hometown where he was born in his city, and I got to see his his upbringing.
Oh, wow.
And he lived in the farm, man. He was a country boy, riding horses, killing cows, and
Really?
yeah,
Probably
man.
with his
Yeah.
bare hands.
Didn't he got a blue belt in America though?
No, he
That's what I heard. I thought he was an exchange student.
he was he went as an exchange student. And he came down here, spent a couple years in
Idaho.
Idaho, yeah, somewhere in the middle of the United States, and he had like a exchange family that took care of him for a while, and then he would go to Rio to Master Toko, which is the guy who gave him his black belt at finally at the end, and he would go back and forth and visit him. I think he would go like every year for Worlds, and then he would either win or do well, and then he would get promoted, and then he'd come back the very next year and do it again. So,
Oh wow.
yeah. And the guy, his instructor is freaking the master who gave him his black belt, Toko. He's another amazing human being. So
Yeah.
funny. Yeah, he lives in Miami now too. He just moved to Miami recently. Real
Oh,
cool dude.
that's cool.
Yeah, cool dude.
Yeah, I gotta get one of the greatest training sessions that I've been to has been at Cyborg's gym at his pro trainings.
Yeah, those pro trainings are sick.
The
We
one-
started that, man. Me and him and Pablo started that years ago. I went to Copa America, right? And I went into the Absolute. It was a gi Absolute. I didn't know Cyborg was either then. And I beat Marcel. I don't know if it was Marcel. I don't remember who it was. I beat a couple guys. We got in the finals together. And it was me and him in the finals. And I took him down and almost passed the guard. And his eyes like opened up like big. Like it was like, who's this little guy who's like throwing me around, right? So then he got bottom, and he swept me and got on top and almost took my back. And then the score was like he won by some points. Didn't tap me. Then he was like, yo, where are you from? I'm like, oh, I live in Fort Lauderdale. And he's like, oh man, I live in Miami. He's like, you have a gym? I'm like, no, I didn't have a gym then. I was like, no, I don't have a gym. He goes, what do you train? I was like, oh, I train at this place, with Pablo. And he's like, who's that? I'm like, oh, this guy,
You didn't know who Pablo was?
He didn't know who Pablo was either. And I was like, he was in the ADCC a couple times. He's like, oh, the American dude, little swole guy. I'm like, yeah, but he's Brazilian. He's like,
American.
oh, he didn't know, like I was like, oh, yeah. He goes, let's train together. I'm like, cool, give me your number. So I gave him my number, and one day we set it up, and he came to the gym, and he's like, yo, we're all training together forever.
And then you guys called yourselves the Avengers.
Yeah, then they came up with that stupid name. I don't know.
Buchecha was part of that.
Yeah, Buchecha. It was a bunch of us. It was a lot of guys that
I remember that.
that was the sickest room that I think I could ever remember of all the years I've ever trained. It's craziness.
I came down to train in the room for Cyborg going against Gavao for that super fight.
Yeah, that was crazy too.
Oh my God. Just stepping back and looking, it was like,
There's a lot of guys in there.
there was a lot of black belts in
Rodolfo
there.
Vieira, freaking
Watching Rodolfo go against Cyborg in the
yeah,
gym
man.
was crazy.
lot of big names.
Rodolfo's intense.
He's amazing.
He's unbelievable.
Cool guy too, huh?
Yeah, yeah.
Nice person.
Mm-hmm.
Good kid.
So Wagner, do you have anything that you want to plug, or you have your 50-50 of the Arms DVD?
Yeah, man, I always want to plug that. That's part of.
Where can people go get that?
It's 5050ofthearms.com.
Cool.
Pretty easy. You can look that up, and get a piece of that. The knowledge that you can obtain from these DVDs is unreal. I put a lot of work into it. I spent like over 8 hours filming these series, and I spent a couple months, detailing all the movements and sequences of things that happen.
I'm not gonna lie. I think I'm gonna buy it after today's seminar.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, me too.
It was awesome.
It's a pretty amazing system. Big shout out to our boy Matt who helped me put this all together. He planted the seed in my mind. He goes, "Hey man, we should make a DVD about these series." Because I did a seminar with you and then a seminar with him, and he goes, "Man, we should do a DVD. This is just unreal." And I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "You think you can get a couple hours of material?" I'm like, "Maybe." And then he goes, "Go home, write it down, let me know what you got." And I went home. I started every day like putting a little bit of stuff, and I tell people all the time, because I'm like, I need to like videotape myself when I train, because I don't even think about what I'm doing. I just do it. It becomes kind of instinct. A lot of stuff I just make up on the fly. And I started doing that. I started videotaping, and then I came back with like 6 pages of material, and Matt's like, "Yo, that's more than enough for like 3 DVDs." I'm like,
Wow.
"All right, I guess let's do it." He's like, so we took a day and started filming it, and it became unreal. So, and it has had, man, we sold over 400 copies in the first month or two, if I'm not mistaken.
Wow.
It's pretty amazing. Yeah, it's pretty sick, and it's still every week every month I see we're selling a lot.
That's great.
So, I've used it so many different matches I've won off the system. It just works for me, and it's helped me with offense, defense. Definitely it's helped me a lot against wrestlers. People shooting.
Yeah, that's something I've noticed too about it. That's really cool. That if you're going up against a strong wrestler, it's very effective. Yeah,
today I rolled with one of the boys from Jeff's MMA, Jeff Bailey's group.
Yeah.
His name was Kevin, I believe. Can't remember. I feel bad now. He was a cool kid too. We trained hard, but he was a good wrestler. And
Dave Mundell.
Yeah, Dave. That's it. Not Kev. And I was using it with Dave, and and I'm always like, man, thank God for Kimuras, because the kid is such a strong wrestler. Just being able to take me down, and I'm like, all right, back into this again.
Well, I just love that you basically get the Kimura, and then from the moment that you have it, it's just a hop, skip, and a jump till you're submitting the person.
Yeah, that like the way I explained it today was really good, and I've been using that with my students, with the kids and the adults. And my daughter had a match on this weekend against a really high-level competitor, this girl Jasmine Johnson, who's been winning everything across the state. She won a Zapatero, all-girls Zapatero Invitational. She's won a bunch of Leo matches, like submitting people, making them look bad easy. And amazing competitor, but I worked a bunch of details with my daughter on it, and she freaking was able to get a Kimura on her this weekend off the series of stuff that we worked.
How happy are you that your daughter loves to do jiu-jitsu?
Huh?
Does that make you happy your daughter loves to do jiu-jitsu?
Well, I'll be honest with you. She didn't really always like to do jiu-jitsu. When we first started jiu-jitsu, she used to hate it. She used to cry every class. And I would teach class, and she would be in the kids' class, and she would cry. And she would complain and say, "Oh, why do I have to do this?" And I'd be like, I gotta be here, honey. I gotta work. It's part of my job. And I think it's important. It's like you have school. Think it's priority. Go to school, right? You have to go to school. Like you have to know how to defend yourself. This is priority. It's not
right.
It's not like I'm forcing her. I didn't beat her and say, "Oh, I can't believe you suck." And she sucked too. She used to suck. She was the worst child. It was the funniest part was all that. Like she hated it. She cried and she sucked. She used to get beat up by everybody and every day. And I had many parents coming to me like, "Why don't you just let her not do it?" I'm like, "Because then I'm giving her the easy way out." That's not life. That life is not like that.
But it worked out well for her. Now she loves it.
Now she's a killer.
Yeah, now she loves it. And then parents like, "Oh, she's amazing." It's all the, and I'm like, no. At one point or another, I could have let her quit. I could have. And a lot of parents allow kids, you're an instructor at a school, you know what I'm saying? A lot of parents allow their kids to quit. And it's not about, you can't like you do football or you do basketball, or those are, awesome sports. A kid gets tired of that and he wants to quit. Cool. He's not going to be a professional basketball player. He's not going to be a professional football player. But the confidence level that a child gets from knowing jiu-jitsu is unreal. Think of all the kids that are really good. Their confidence, the way they carry themselves, the way the way they live their life is totally different than the regular Joe that doesn't know it, or the child that doesn't know it. And I think a lot of parents start their kids in jiu-jitsu and then they allow their children to quit. That's such a mistake.
Teaches them how to quit everything.
Yes, and then you can't. You gotta bring it back to them and say, listen, think about all these things, all these great things that they've learned the time they've been here, and the success that they could have just by knowing this. What they know now. Think about all the kids that start when they're brand new, how much they suffer. How much they have a hard time, how hard it is. If you allow your kid to do it for a year and then quit, it's like basically bringing them back to that for day one again. You're doing it to them, on purpose. And
I'm guilty. My son was doing jiu-jitsu for a while. He actually won a tournament, his first tournament.
Right.
Then he went and we bumped him up a little bit, so he started losing.
Right, it's normal.
And yeah, of course, yeah. And he didn't like that, and he didn't like coming to class every day, and so I just kind of let him fall off a little bit because I figured, I'd bring him back in when he's like in his teens, where he can take it more serious. But I like what you're saying right now. I think I'm gonna.
You got to talk to him. Life will kick you down. Life will step on you. Life will walk all over you. But if you turn your back and you say, you know what, I'm done with life.
Right.
What is that? What are you saying? That's, we got to know how to. If you can teach your child at a young age how to mentally overcome something like that, it'll be great. They're going to be amazing human beings. So I think, my kids, I don't even stress. They're at the gym. They train. They do good, great. They don't do great. I don't care.
Right.
As long as they're doing it.
As long as they're there, homie, I don't care.
Do both your kids do it?
Both my kids. My son my son is hilarious. He does things that I'm just like, where'd you learn that? Why are you doing that? This is so retarded. It's craziness. He does cartwheels. He does flips. If he sees somebody do something, if he watches you do something that's crazy, he's gonna try it. And he's gonna, he started doing cartwheels out of nowhere, right? And then he started doing front flips on passing. Like he just put his head down and roll. Or he loves doing hitchhiking. He lets kids get to the armbar and then he gets out. And I'm like, loves fighting submissions. Like his favorite thing to do is to let a kid get a submission and then get out.
No.
I'm like, that's bad. Don't do that. You be the guy getting the submission and try to get him. But I don't stress it. He goes into a tournament, he loses. He wants to go to a tournament. It's on him. He has to ask me.
Sure.
Your kid doesn't have to go to a tournament because you want them. They have to go to a tournament because they want to go.
Right.
Like I was telling you earlier about my competitive kids. They're not in my competitive group until they want to be in my competitive group. Not when their parents think they're ready to be in my competitive group.
Right.
Yeah.
That's not how the life works.
And we make them try out to compete.
Yeah. Think about how many kids get pushed to try out.
Yeah. But we'll
and then the kid that gets pushed to try out and then he makes it. And then he gets in and he's like, I didn't want to do this.
I didn't really want to do this. Yeah.
You don't want that kid there anyways. I don't want that kid there.
Right. You don't want that kid there. Well, we can tell. And we'll tell the parent we don't think he's ready.
Yeah, I think
a lot of parents, they're ready just yet.
Yeah, and then the parents eats their kid's ass. They're like, parents don't. A lot of parents live to their children, man. It's sad,
That's true.
Over the years, I've been teaching for almost 8 years now, and I've seen it, and I'm like, man, why do you do that?
You need to live as an example for your child.
Yeah, those parents, I'm always like, hey, why don't you come do a class?
Yeah,
do
right.
one class, and then you'll really understand what they're doing, what they're really going through.
The parent that coaches on the side, yelling at their kid,
the one that's never trained. Oh my god,
like 400 pounds sitting on the side. God,
how many parents scream absurd things that I'm like, what are you screaming over there? You don't even know what you're saying. I don't kick parents out though. I let them in the gym because this way I can see it. I know what's going on,
Mm-hmm.
If you say, oh, no parents allowed, then you're not sure what's happening behind those doors. You know what I'm saying? When you have it happen in front of you, then you can coach the parents into what they should be doing,
Yeah. It's
how
tough
do you do
though,
that?
When you have
How do I coach them?
Yeah, how do you change the parents' sort of perspective?
I approach to them in a nice, calm, easy way. I say, hey, man, for example, what's your son's name?
Jake.
Jake is doing great, Sonny. You have to, work with him. You have to, understand what he's going through, and and then when they're like, well, yeah, I am, and be like, no, you're not. You're giving them good feedback, in your mind, but you're not giving them good feedback because they think, they're disappointing you when you're coaching them. You're overcoaching them and you're yelling at them, and then you give them that look because they didn't beat that kid or they didn't do that good with that kid. That's a disappointment look. You don't want to give your children that.
Right.
They're here. This is hard work. This is hard. And that if they cross that line and judge it, then I'm like, come try a class out. Try one class. I've had many parents, many strong, burly looking men. Like they do a class, they did the warm up, and they're like, oh, the warm up alone, they're already looking at like, I'm gonna go to the bathroom. Like,
Yep.
it's you guys know.
That's how that's so funny. That's how Ian's dad started doing jiu-jitsu.
Oh, he was that guy. He was that parent.
He was that parent, and then he got invited on the mat.
And look at Ian now.
And
Look at that. You did it by accident then.
Yeah. Well, this wasn't me. This was back. Ian started training when he was like 7. He was a little 7-year-old kid in midget's class. Christina,
Oh
Midget.
yeah.
And I guess Joe was one of those coaches that was coaching from the side. One of those parents coaching from the sidelines. And Midget invited him on the mat.
Oh,
And
he beat him up. Did she beat him up?
I don't remember if it was her.
She could.
Or somebody else, but he got an eye opener, and then he's a purple belt now.
Yeah, it's good
Ian's
though.
dad.
But look at how good it did for him.
Oh yeah,
The kid, Ian's still here. Ian's still in the game. Ian could eventually be a great competitor. If he puts his mind to it and focuses in the right direction.
Oh, yeah.
He's so young. That age that he has and the time he has already on the mat. He started at 7. He's what, 18? How old is he?
He's 18.
Yeah, if he's 18, he started at 7. He's been doing jiu-jitsu for 9 years. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it is. He's got his brown belt already.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. You just gotta think about it in a sense where a lot of parents don't know how to be coached. You have to coach the parents. They don't know what they're doing. They don't know what they're doing. Their kids don't know what they're doing. They don't have no idea what they've gotten themselves into. It's like an adult when he comes into jiu-jitsu. He's like, whoa, this is more than I thought it was.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. It's the same concept. Just the difference is there's a person on the other end puppeteering the situation.
Right.
There's parents that I also get on parents that don't give a crap, that they don't even come in. Just drop the kid off.
A lot of those. Yeah.
But man, there's tons of those.
Yeah.
You have both ends. You have the ones that give too much, and then the ones that can give enough. Like you got to give. You got to come in and watch him. You come watch them, and then that kid turns it up and makes it like 10 times better than he was before.
And you have some kids that fall in love with it immediately, and
know which ones.
They love it, and then some kids just don't. They just don't.
I got kids in my school that I'm like, this guy's the next Marcelo Garcia. Or Rustam. Like this is just a bear. Like, I got a little Russian kid. His dad's Russian, and his kid's a descent of Russian. The kid is 7 years old. He went to 2 months training. He went to a new breed tournament, and he suplexed another kid.
Does he have hair all over his back too?
Who suplexes somebody?
That's crazy.
He suplexed the other kid. Never trained in his life. And he did. He played rugby.
There you go.
Yeah. He played rugby and lacrosse.
7 years old.
7 years old. He's been playing rugby and lacrosse, and then he got into jiu-jitsu. So think about those two sports. Those are rough sports.
Very athletic sports.
Yeah. And he suplexed another kid on his head. And even I was like, ah. Even I was scared for the other kid.
Wow.
Crazy, man. It's crazy,
It is really cool to see a team of kids.
It's good to see that.
Yep. That compete and do well. And they love it, and they form like a family with each other.
Yeah,
really cool.
It's important to have a family in your school,
Absolutely, man. Well, thanks a lot for coming out, man.
I appreciate you guys, man.
I appreciate you too. And
it was a great seminar and great conversation just now.
Yes, sir.
It's good, man. It's good. This is a good thing for people, to get some insight in jiu-jitsu and learn and to be, involved in this thing that we love,
This life we live,
Yeah.
this world we've created through, jiu-jitsu. It's a lifestyle.
It is. It is.
So check out 50/50 of the Arms. And if you want to see Vagner in person, you can go check out his gym down in
Pembroke Pines.
Pembroke Pines.
South Florida, Pembroke Pines, about 30 minutes from Miami.
What's it called? What's the website for your school?
Vagner Rocha Martial Arts. If you if you have, you know, kids, you know, your children are competitive, you know, I have a huge system of training competitor kids. Had a lot of kids in my school who won kids Pan Ams, Worlds. Really focus on children and also adults. You know, if you're an adult competitor, I'm always on the mat. I'm always training. You know, Robbie knows. There's no time I've ever come up here and I'm like, I'm not rolling. No, I love rolling. I roll with everybody. And if somebody new comes into my school, I'm definitely rolling. Yeah. That's the place to roll.
Absolutely, yeah, definitely the best school in that area. So go check them out. Peace out, guys.
Thanks, Vagner.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.